Pony point of view. Let's be honest, we've seen countless other stories like this before. Multiple characters telling the same tale from different perspectives and every one of them feeling like they can't be the one at fault. And the inevitable conclusion that shows there were misunderstandings all around and we should learn a lesson about not being too quick to judge and have a greater willingness to talk it out and forgive. Bottom line, it's been done. A lot. But even with a very predictable beginning, middle, and ending, does MLP actually bring anything new and or entertaining to the table? Let's find out. Our story begins with Twilight and Spike finding out that their friend's trip didn't all go according to plan. And it seems that Applejack, Rarity, and Pinkie Pie are all more than just a little upset with each other.
Hey, where's your dignity? Spread out.
So, after their first attempt at reconciliation comes to rejection letters delivered via pets, it comes down to Twilight and Spike to figure out just what really happened. And while most of the story elements are quite easy to see coming, you can tell that both the animators and the voice actors had a lot of fun with the premise.
I Popeye the Sailor Man. I Popeye the Sailor Man.
Seriously, who wouldn't want to see more of Applejack on the high seas? Also, anyone else think that Rarity's dress here is directly from the movie Titanic? Although, with that in mind, I have to wonder whether it might have been better to make this the first costume Rarity puts on so as to better set up the ship capsizing later on. Overall, though, I think it was entertaining to see how each pony views the others by accentuating just a few of their more noticeable personality quirks without any of it going annoyingly over the top. And while it is easy to tell that everyone is misunderstanding each other and eventually they'll all make up, it is interesting trying to figure out exactly how everything went wrong. Especially when Spike keeps asking how they all got back to shore if their ship sank in the middle of a storm. I admit I was quite intrigued as to why they kept avoiding the answer. Perhaps they were lost and marooned on a desert island. Then, on the fourth day, they roped themselves a couple of sea turtles, lashed them together, and made a raft. Okay, probably not. But I'm betting they have something very creative coming up.
It wasn't the middle of the ocean.
You know, I actually think that made for a pretty entertaining anticlimax. Good one, writers. As for the lesson they're trying to teach here, I think they pulled it off fairly well. Friendships being torn apart by misunderstandings and refusing to talk it out because everyone insists on waiting for an apology is, unfortunately, never going to stop being a thing. One reason as to why we've seen this kind of story so many times before is really because we keep needing to learn it. And in that respect, I can better understand why the MLP staff chose to do this particular episode, even though much of it does feel like filler. And even the idea that it turned out to be no one's fault is a nice touch. We would have expected some combination of all of them being to blame in some form or another, but I think this out-of-nowhere tri-horned bunyip actually does help the overall lesson, emphasizing that we cannot see all ends. Our assumptions about others and even ourselves often don't include the whole picture. And even the inclusion of the cucumber sandwich was implemented in a way where really none of us could have guessed it was going to be relevant. So, like I said before, most of the story elements are quite easy to see coming. But for those few elements that aren't, along with just how much fun the animators and voice actors were having with this concept, I am glad I gave this episode a watch. While the story itself is pretty much meh, it was still an entertaining meh, if that even makes sense. But what do you think? Given the intro of Applejack, Rarity, and Pinkie Pie being at odds with each other, how did you think everything was going to turn out in the end? What did you think about the predictable and even at times anticlimax elements? Would you want to see another episode where the writers really did focus on a high seas adventure for the main six? I would like to hear your thoughts on Pony Point of View. And here's looking forward to what few episodes remain in MLP Season 6. I am Dr. Wolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.
It's pinata time! Wanna give it a whack, Rarity?
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.